channel 00 Chico, the Breakroom begins its nightly broadcast. Having trouble again with my nosy neighbors always peeking over the fence, like I'm the only guy with a cockfighting pit in my backyard.
Down the street the dogs are barking, and the days are getting dark. As the night comes in a falling, all the dogs will lose their bark.
Welcome to the program. I'm your host Marty, and you are in the Breakroom. And the band you just have been listening to and are hearing underneath me somewhere is a band that started out as a cover band from San Francisco in 1964. And I don't know how they did it, but they succeeded in challenging the Beatles and the whole Beatle invasion at one time. This band was a trailblazer. I mean, just an incredible band. And we're going to take a look at them in a movie from 1965 right now called Wild Wild Winter. Here they are, Beau Brummels.
1, 2, 3.
So sit back, relax, fire up a colortini, and watch the pictures as they fly through the air. We'll be right back.
There was a time when how many girls you hit got you in the principal's office and expelled. Now it's a badge of honor. The times they are a-changing. Maybe not that much.
So the Beau Brummels. And their story begins when the singer, Sal Valentino, needs to find a backing band in the summer of 1964. He's been playing all through San Francisco and that area for a long time. He's done a couple albums, or rather singles, and he needs to find a backup band for a gig he's got set up for the summertime of 64. And he contacts an old friend of his, Ron Elliott, who's a musician and a singer and most importantly a songwriter. So they secure three other guys. One guy is Declan Mulligan, John Peterson, and Ron Meager. The name of the band they create is called the Stepping Stones. And they go ahead and start playing together, and they're really good. I mean, they're a really good band. And a lot of people are coming to the nightclub, and they're playing primarily cover songs from, like, well, the Beatles and the Stones and the Searchers. And it's going pretty well with them. In fact, another owner from a club goes ahead and wants to book him at his place, which is a little nicer. The name of the club is the Morocco Room, and the name of the actual owner is Rich Romanello. And he likes them so much he wants to manage them. And in his managing technique, he brings in two DJs from a local radio station in San Francisco, KYA, and these two gentlemen have formed a record label called Autumn Records. And they're looking for talent, obviously. And they just love this band, the Stepping Stones. The two DJs that come in and watch them that night are Tom Donahue and Bobby Mitchell. And they're both DJs at KYA Radio.
Really on top of that thing. This is Tom Donahue. I'm going to be here until 10 o'clock tonight. And I wanted to rap with you a little bit about...
So they hire them, recording contract with the Stepping Stones, and the first thing they do, they go ahead and change the name. So Declan Mulligan, Ron Elliott, John Peterson, Sal Valentino, and Ron Meager are now the Beau Brummels, and they start recording right away. They have an in-house producer. And he's also a DJ, and his name is Sylvester Stewart. And we all get to know him years later as Sly Stone. And they put out their first single, and the single is called Laugh Laugh. Let's take a look at that real quick.
I hate to say it, but I told you so. don't mind my preaching to you. I said, don't trust them, baby, now you know. You don't learn everything there is to know it's true. Wouldn't believe me when I gave advice. I said that he was a thief. If you won't help, you better ask me now. So please don't sit and beg me with a pretty please. Laugh, laugh, I thought I'd die. It seems so funny to me. Laugh, laugh, you met a guy who taught you how to be.
After that, of course, they want to go ahead and get as much exposure as they can, and the Beatles have a new animated cartoon going on Saturday morning. So what happens is the Beau Brummels get to be on the new TV show The Flintstones as the Beau Brummel Stones, I think. Let's take a look at them on the Flintstones of all places.
Imagine, Wilma, the Beau Brummel Stones in person.
It seems so funny to me.
So soon after, they have to go and put out an album, and they put out their first album called Introducing the Beau Brummels, and another song comes off that album, and it's a bigger hit than Laugh Laugh, and this song is called Just a Little, and I think it reaches number 8, and a really good song. Let's take a look at that real quick.
I can't stay, yes I know. You know I hate to go, but goodbye. Love was sweet, our worlds can never meet. So I cry just a little 'cause I love you so, and I die just a little 'cause I have to go away. Can't you see how I feel when I say love's unreal? So goodbye, it's been sweet, even though incomplete. So I'll cry just a little 'cause I love you so, and I'll die just a little 'cause I have to go away.
Sometime during mid-65, one of the guitarists, Declan Mulligan, leaves the band. But the band is still going to keep going as a 4-man band. And one of the places they play besides the Flintstones, they actually make an appearance on, of all things, the afternoon talk show, The Mike Douglas Show. Hi.
Every night I see you here, oh your side is very clear.
During this time, Ron Elliott isn't feeling well, and this is going to happen throughout the time the Beau Brummels are around. Ron apparently has a form of diabetes, and when it flares up, he's just out of it. And so he's obviously not on this show. And like the first song I played for you on the movie, they do another movie in 1965, and this movie is kind of. I remember watching it when I was younger, and the name of this movie is Village of the Giants, and here's them doing the song "Woman."
Cheat on me, woman, woman. Why do you want to cheat on me? You're as cold as it comes, you're so bad you just can't find me.
They bring out their second album, which is called the Beau Brummels Volume 2, and it has a song on it that does pretty well. Let's take a look at that one.
You tell me that I should not cry. You tell me all good things must die. You ask me why I get upset. You tell me that I will forget. Tell me why. You say I can be blue for long. You say
Another song off that album does pretty well, and this one's actually not on where the action is. It's actually on a show called Hullabaloo, and let's take a look at that real quick.
follow your long beaten path. Wonder where you can be grasped. Be aware of hidden dangers, and don't you go talking to strangers. Travel on the midnight road. Ramble where the winds don't blow. Be aware of hidden dangers, and don't you dare go unto strangers.
They're doing pretty well. They have 4 songs that have also kind of gotten the top 50, although one was 52 and one's 38, but pretty much. And they start touring, but they need another guitarist. And also with Ron Elliott not doing well and getting sick every now and then, they have to bring somebody else in. And there's a guy they know by the name of Don Irving. Don Irving is a guitarist who plays on demos for Sal Valentino, and he's pretty good. So they pick up Don Irving, and again they're a 5-man band or a 4-man band when Ron's not able to perform. He's still writing for the band, but again the long tours kind of wipe him out. So Don takes over and kind of fills in for him during the touring in the last part of 1965.
Yeah, I'm walking in the evening, hoping that it's not my fault. Yes, I'm fumbling.
At the end of 1965, the record company they're with, Autumn Records, dissolves, and they get picked up by another record company, Warner Brothers, which is great, but Warner Brothers doesn't have any rights to the songs they've recorded or done already in the studio, so they have to put out an album. So they put out an album of all cover songs, and it's not that good, and things aren't going well. The band isn't talking to each other too much. It's kind of dissolving a little bit. The drummer, John Peterson, has had enough. He actually leaves the band, and he joins another band called Harper's Bazaar, if you're aware of them. They did the song Groovy, big hit for them. Don Irving, who's been kind of taken over now as part of the band, he gets drafted, so he's gone. In 1967, there's only 3 Brummels of the original Brummels left. It's Sal Valentino, Ron Elliott, and Ron Meager. And they come out with an album called Triangle. Now, it wasn't a big hit. It was okay. I mean, it was actually well received by the critics, but just didn't sell well. I mean, there were a lot of bands now in '67, and the Beau Brummels just kind of like got plowed under with everybody else that was having big albums in 1967. And for the first time, the band gets to actually play stuff that they feel is more like their influences. I mean, when they made it big, they were playing primarily like beat music with folk rock, kind of like what the Beatles were doing a little bit. That's why they became as big as they were early on. But they were primarily like a psychedelic folk band in 1967. Finally, the last member of the original Beau Brummels is drafted, Don Meager, and he becomes the first active player in the band that gets sent to the Vietnam War. And so it's just now Ron Elliott and Sal Valentino. And so they go ahead and do another album. They stopped touring. I mean, they just stopped touring altogether. They're spending their time in the studio now. They put on an album called Bradley's Barn. They went down to Nashville, like everyone was doing at the time, and recorded with a bunch of Nashville musicians, like Dylan did, and I know the Byrds did some of that, and then later on the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band did some of that. But they have an album called Bradley's Barn, and again, same thing, critically acclaimed, but it just didn't sell too well. Soon after the album comes out, the band pretty much dissolves in late 1968, and by '69 they're completely no longer together. Everyone's doing their own thing, solo acts and stuff. And not until 1975 do all 5 original members of the Beau Brummels decide to get back together and record an album. And they do, and it's called Beau Brummels. And again, it wasn't that good. But the most important thing, they were touring again as a 5-man band. But that only lasted for a little while because, like with the Beau Brummels, the bass player, Ron Meager, decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. And they become a 4-man band. They find somebody else to play guitar for them. And we have a recording of them performing at a radio studio in 1975, a live broadcast. Let's take a look at the Beau Brummels as they looked in 1975.
Don't mind my preaching to you. I said don't trust them, baby, now you know. That you learn everything there is to know in school. Wouldn't believe me when I gave advice. I said that he was a tease. If you won't help, you better ask me nice. So please don't still convince me with a pretty face. Laugh, laugh, I thought I'd die. It seems so funny to me. Laugh, laugh, you met a guy. I told you how it feels to be lonely. Oh, so lonely.
That was about it for them. They every now and then they would do some kind of a reunion thing with maybe 1 or 2 members together, but never 4 or 5 members like they did in 1975. The Beau Brummels were a big band. They really were. They were the first band to come out of San Francisco that made it. They kind of were a trailblazer with the rest of the bands that were in San Francisco at the time but couldn't break through, like the Jefferson Airplane and Grateful Dead, Country Joe. They were the first band. In fact, they were the only band besides the Beach Boys in 1965 that had 2 songs that were in the top 15. And this was a time when like the Byrds were around and the Turtles were around in '65, but the Beau Brummels and the Beach Boys were the only 2 American bands that had songs in the top 15. Sadly enough, John Peterson passes away in 2007, and Declan Mulligan passed away in 2021. But again, a really good band, and I'm glad you stayed tuned and watched all of it with me. And remember, society's goal is to be part of the whole. That may sound good to you, not to me. Let me be, to think like I want to. Let me be, that's all I ask of you. I am what I am, and that's all I ever can be. Peace.
I listen to 60s radio at home. It's not your typical channel, just a bunch of 60-year-olds complaining about today's music.
All the sidewalks and the